Hi, just had a few moments to stop by your place. I'm Bill Pearce, in case we haven't met. Perhaps we can join together for a few moments at the end of this day, by means of radio. Radio being the delightful means of communication that it is, affords us the opportunity of getting together like this without having to put on pretense or appear any certain way. Your hair may be up in rollers. Perhaps you look like the end of time, but it doesn't matter. I'm sitting here in jeans and running shoes and a sweatshirt. That doesn't matter either, does it? Just glad to be with you. Our program is essentially low-key. Most people enjoy this type of mood at night. Then there are others who would rather have something a little more active. I received a letter from one of my daughters in Seattle at the university there. She said some guys in the dorm were complaining about your voice on the radio. They think you should get hyped up more like a disc jockey. You put them to sleep. Oh, well, they can eat rats. Love you. Hope to see you soon. Whatever your mood or disposition now, I hope that you're able to stay with me for this time together. Tonight, as I was considering a topic to settle on, it seemed the word guilt came to me. Now, we've handled this subject before, probably 2 or 3 times in the last 5 or 6 years, from different vantage points. The other day I was looking in a fine book by author James Johnson with the title How to Enjoy Life and Not Feel Guilty. Some people, even in Christian environments, have been brought up with some sort of a guilt-laden complex which is associated with Christianity somehow. This is certainly a paradox which we'd like to get into just a little bit tonight. And along the way, we have the music of Nightsounds.
So many folks are lonely. Oh Lord, they need someone to care. And when I look about and see them, I can't help making this my prayer. Let your love flow through me. Let your love flow through me. Make me a blessing, Lord, wherever I may be. Keep me pure, keep me clean, so that you might be seen. Let your love flow through me. Lord, when I meet a lost one, give me all the right words I should say. Help me not be weak or timid. Their only chance may be with me today. Let your love flow through me. Let your love flow through me. Make me a blessing, Lord, wherever I may be. Keep me pure, keep me clean, so that you might be seen. Let your love flow through me. Make me pure, make me clean, so Let your love flow through me. Let your love flow through me.
Let your love flow through me. The opening music of Nightsounds by Gene Merlino and the group. So that your love may be seen, help me to so live. One of the beautiful things about Christianity is that it leaves room for the individual. We're all different, and as many different styles as there are personalities, styles of performance, of action, of singing, speaking, living, gesturing, interacting. Oftentimes it seems that there is a misinterpretation of one of the most familiar verses in the Scripture. Romans, the New Testament, chapter 12, verses 1 and 2. Be not conformed to this world system. Paul the Apostle says, but be transformed by the renewing of your minds. There is a certain kind of conformity, a cookie-cutter type uniformity of which C.S. Lewis speaks in Christian work and action, Christian circles, which says, look, just fit in, do what the others do, don't do anything out of the ordinary, and you'll do just fine. A few moments ago I mentioned James Johnson's book, How to Enjoy Life and Not Feel Guilty. He said this was a wife's advice to a husband who had not been a Christian very long and was facing a social gathering of Christians. In other words, she was saying to him, try not to do anything that's unpredictable. But this man, in his personality, was unpredictable. That was his style. He enjoyed it. He'd wiggle his ears while conversing, or light a match while conversing, or pull an egg out of his pocket, because his days of being a magician were not yet gone. He enjoyed being unpredictable, and he always thought others did too. But now, he had to fit in a certain way that was very sedate, very careful, very circumspect in its social structure. There would be a prayer and maybe some Bible reading. Don't rock the boat. So the man went out and he played the game that night. He pulled no tricks, told no jokes, was as polite and reserved as a diplomat in conversation. And when it was over, he drove home in silence. He had conformed. But now he was confused because he wasn't himself anymore. He belonged to other people's expectations of him as that of a Bible-believing, born-again Christian, which to him meant hours at a time of boring, uneventful, joyless social life. In his book, Do I Have to Be Me?, Lloyd Ullum stated, in non-authentic living, there is a behavioral recipe to follow in nearly every social situation. If we know the place we're going to be and the kind of people who will be there, our behavior can be predicted fairly well. We'll unconsciously follow the behavioral recipe that fits the situation. And there are times when it's necessary to do just that. I found that in certain concert environments I sense a certain conservatism, and I immediately test the waters, find out from the host what type of music the people are used to, and we try to shoot down the middle, because I'm not there to offend, but to minister. Nobody wants to deliberately jar the delicate bubble that encases the finery of the kingdom. There are times when we have to be all things to all men, when occasions call for the sublimating of personal lifestyle to the parameters of others. But how long do we maintain this kind of thing and keep our personal identity? Is God's kingdom, someone asked, made up of punch-press figures, all with the same design, all with the same lines, all with the same polite decor? Does one forever play the game? Does one forever take on the nuance that someone else has developed? Does one forever put aside the me in order to be accepted by them? Playing the game inevitably destroys a major part of the self that God has given to the individual. In many instances, if a person tries to be himself, he soon feels guilty. Someone will ultimately communicate to him that this simply is not done. Not too long ago, I received a letter from a radio station we had been with for a long time, and I talked with the general manager. We talked for some hours, and he told me, he said, I recognize your sincerity, but your methodology is up for review. Don't be surprised if the organization pulls you off the air. There's no maliciousness, no hard feelings. It's just not our style. We are a very conservative organization. Well, I brought it before the Lord and before the people there, and I said, I understand. And to a point I did. But it saddened me that we no longer have the relationship with a very large audience in that area of the country that we once enjoyed. They helped me, I helped them. God helped us both. And it seemed to me to sort of narrow down to this very thing that we're talking about here tonight. And I don't say this to make anyone think that I'm the good guy and they're the bad guys. It could be the other way around. But there might have been some place we could have met in our methodology. It's been done before, where we are able to take a certain program that may be up for question in methodology, with a certain group. We'll withdraw that and replace it with a more conservative type thing, just to keep the relationship. And in a sense, I'm doing there what I've been talking about in our first few minutes tonight. And these moments together, we're just reflecting. I'm not preaching. Now and then we get into a kind of mood or a mindset, or God impresses something on our hearts that needs to be said because it's important. Take this for what it's worth. Because if it helps, so be it. If it doesn't, and it goes the wrong way, unless God is speaking, toss it. But if He is speaking, and you sense that there's something here that you should listen to, so be it. But let's be sensitive that we're guided by His will and by His Spirit in all that we do and think. My mind goes now to one of the old hymns of prayer for direction. Guide me, O thou great Jehovah, pilgrim through this barren land. Here's the Melody 4 Quartet.
Guide me, O thou great Jehovah, pilgrim through this barren land. I am weak, but thou art mighty. Hold me with thy powerful hand. Bread of
Guide me, O thou great Jehovah. I'd like to immediately play another setting of this hymn. Sort of a Baroque type of structure with trombone, recorder, and harpsichord. Guide me, O thou great Jehovah, pilgrim through this barren land. I am weak, but thou art mighty. Guide me with thy powerful hand. The Melody 4 Quartet, followed by trombone, recorder, and harpsichord. In case you've joined us in the last few moments, a warm welcome to you. One of the things I try not to do is to get into explorative statistics. Now and then people will ask, what is your listening audience to Nightsounds? I don't know. The potential audience is in the millions upon millions. But that's potential. The actual audience, no one knows. Well, what percentage of those who respond to you indicates the entire audience? Is it 1 in 100 who write, or 1 in 1,000? That I don't know either. I don't even try to speculate on that. But I do know that there are many who listen to Nightsounds who do not respond. We've never heard from you. We don't know who you are. And that number, I just have a feeling, comprises the greater majority of listeners. Those who have heard and listened and with whom we meet every night in this way, but who have never responded or written to us. So these nights we're sort of nudging you just to find out who you are, where you are, if we can be of any help to you, how you're receiving us, because I want it to be a dialogue. Our mailing address, Nightsounds, Wheaton, Illinois, 60189. We've been talking tonight to the subject of conformity. How far should we go in conforming to what others expect of us? I think when it comes right down to it, we've got to put it before God, because each condition, situation, environment is different. We're not programmed like a computer to spit out certain information upon the push of a button. We are people, persons. God is a person. We are flexible. We are gloriously, wonderfully, fearfully made. We have great powers and capabilities of adaptation. Playing the game inevitably destroys a major part of the self that God has given to the individual. Somebody, sometime, will probably come up to you and communicate to you that this simply is not done. At that point, this person can abandon the Christian culture and be himself, or else the Christian culture can say to him, "Come, be yourself and share what you are." And even Jesus was not accepted by everyone. They first started calling them Christians back there around that time. It means a miniature Christ. We look to him for our behavior patterns. He himself found it necessary at times not to conform to a predicted pattern, certainly when it had to do with the law of Moses and with certain behavior within religious circles. He was into a brand new thing there. He was bringing a new message of redemption by grace. The main thing is to yield ourselves to him and say, "Lord, help me to be what you want me to be. Help me to be sensitive, to be all things to all men at your direction, to resist at other times, to be a whole person, not to lose my identity because of politics or wanting to be accepted by the majority or whatever. Help me to be an individual for your sake." And at that point, we need to be guided. We need to recognize that we are not our own. As Paul the Apostle stated so clearly, we are bought with a price. The blood of Jesus. A song has been written about this. Old words of a new tune. "I am thine, O Lord, I've heard thy voice, it told thy love to me, draw me nearer to who you are and what you are." The Renaissance now to sing this for us on Nightsounds.
And my will be
Draw Me Nearer. The Renaissance singing, closing the program, Night Sounds musically. We have just a few moments here to thank you for being there, for being you, for not being afraid to be yourself, but always looking to improve. There are habit patterns we should change. Perhaps they're negative. Let's be ready to learn from God's Spirit. Well, this is the fastest half hour on radio as far as I'm concerned. I'd love to hear from you. If we can send you information or a catalog, our mailing address remains Night Sounds, Wheaton, Illinois, 60189. May His touch be with you till we meet again. A pleasant good night to you.